EMILE was a girl all along? Oh my god! Who saw that coming? Like, I can't think of anyone that saw that from a mile away. Or that they had savage DNA in them. You guys know that this is not the most original show ever, but you know what? There's some pluses and there's some negatives coming into this episode. So yeah, you guys kept requesting it, so we keep going back in to 100. So this episode focuses on them going onto the Zwei Island. Like, savage Zwei, like, seriously guys, come on, like, I'm waiting for that P. Give me that fucking P already, like that. I'm waiting for the fucking panda sign to appear, because, you know, they're screaming for the show. So we go to there, and it turns out, you know, that from what we know, Hayato and Emilia is now about to go out there, but they're going to be support, since, you know, they haven't got any, like, combat experience, and they're going to be, like, meanwhile with that, we got, like, the student president, like, you know, we got her, like, all her, Claire's going to be fighting that with all her lackeys, and I've got to say, I was like, at least that, like, they're holding their own, at least from, like, the first part of the episode, and then it's like, oh no, of course not, because they have to fuck up, because it has to be. And then after all of this, even with, like, you got to see with, like, Claire, she was like, oh, but my energy's running out since I'm still exhausted after the battle. I was like, I don't know how, like, this energy works in this world, but it's like, shouldn't you just, I don't know, recover afterwards or something like that? Does it just not, like, recover after a day, or does it just depends on, like, how much stress your body's been put onto? I don't know, but it's like, even with that, it was like, alright, we're going to take that down, and from what we see, like, Hayato clearly is pretty, like, just, like, he's not that pretty decent, actually, when it comes to this situation. He's like, oh, I'm kind of stuck at dealing with allergies, but, oh no, once I go into Berserker mode, it's completely fine, which we saw him go into, and one of, like, because this is the thing, it's like, the other two got taken out, like, the student, like, Claire's, like, lackeys, and I was like, these pieces of shit, fucking like that. They were so useless, and then, what, like, I mean, I had to, like, rescue one of them, like, the one that's with the spear, and then, like, gets cut up, which finds out that all along she has boobs, and I'm like, wow, who did anyone fucking gets that at all? And seen from that, it was like, there's a scar which kind of activated, like, Hayato, like, you know, him going into Berserker mode, into the, or as it's known as the variants, where he just activated the full armor, goes in, starts attacking, throwing balls at it, like, he was going nuts. And like, Emilia decided in the, like, best way, like, to do this is by, like, to calm him down, is to kiss him and calm him down, which you get an explanation is that, you know, once someone has kind of controlled the variant type and all that, then if they, like, if someone gives them the other variant, then they're able to calm them down so he doesn't go into a Berserker mode, and that's pretty much explains the kissing. Yeah, it's not like you can just spit in his face or something like that. It's like, I don't think that'd be that romantic compared to, you know, you just go... they just spit right down his throat. It's like, yeah, there you go, there you go. So, like, overall, like, the reasons really that, like, Emilia kind of gave were kind of lacking, but also as well, yeah, like, I'm not gonna lie, it's like, how fucking tight must have that been down there, or like how much like was you able just to hide the boobs? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they're not exactly like, you know, like Claire's ones where they're like fucking ripping out the fucking next dimension out of them, but it's like they're still there where it's like you would notice them unless you do like the kind of like what you some people do, what like Yagyu Kyubei did, where it's just like from Gintama, it's like, you know, wraps some like kind of cloth around it and so it reveals, doesn't show like you actually have anything down there, or something like, you know, like Mutsuki does from Tokyo Ghoul, like stuff like that. But no, oh no, my leather just happens to do it, fucking magic, poof, boobs, like that, and I'm like it's just like, it was so obvious. Even I knew from the start from that, and even I was like, oh, let me just get confirmation, and then it was like, yep, that's definitely fucking true. So a lot of people are saying, like, I remember like a comment section saying, yo, this was fucking yaoi, I'm bouncing like that, and I'm like, don't worry, you're fine, you're absolutely fine. And them going into like the room saying, oh, I kind of wanted to spend time with you, and then there's some other little reasons that we might get into, and it was like the whole reason of that, and then it turns out it was like, oh, they had another little kiss because they think the side effect's going to be going, and the two actually were like saying like, oh, did you not like the kiss? And then like she's saying, oh, that's not the reason though, and it's like the two were like actually legit gonna kiss and saying, oh yeah, we like each other, and then Claire comes in, and then, like, you know, comedy ensues, and then he trips over, kisses her, grabs the old boobs. I love that this is a thing, like, he's like, any other kind of situation, he's just there grabbing them honkers. I'm like, yo man, like, I ain't arguing. If I was in that situation, I'd be going, like, you know, I'd be going straight into that. Oh dear God. It's like, you know, there's once in a lifetime opportunities like that, especially when you're in anime, like, you're allowed to do these situations. However, in the real world, you got to act like a normal fucking human being. Although in the world of anime, whenever you try to do something like that, you only get a slap on the face. If you try to do that in the real world, you are gonna get fucking sued. It was a fine episode, you know, building up around at the end as well. It's like, oh hey, you know, there's this other person coming in about this, like, you know, the Zwei Islands, like, it's like, it was stuff like that. It was a harmless episode. It's all that Hayato also needs to learn to control his variant ability. But then, you know, the whole romantic thing of, like, Claire kind of being the whole tsundere, and then also as well, you got saying Emilia, she's like, oh no, but she's mine, and it's like, I like how everyone was, like, outside of their dorm rooms listening to this bullshit, and they're like hearing all about this kissing, and it's just like, this motherfucker, this motherfucker is the luckiest piece of shit in the world. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? It's just like, that's good old fucking main characters, the harems and all that. Like, they are my worst enemies and also the most loved at the same time. It's like, so yeah, no fucking shock there. Honestly, in a way of like, who's it like really rooting for? It's like, well, since the case of that they was gonna kiss and all that, it clearly shows that those two have feelings for one another, and then there's not really anything too much about Claire, like, but the only difference is that he just happens to keep grabbing him, and that's like, maybe that's like giving Claire signs or something, but it's like, Hayato, for the most part, just looks like he's completely into fucking Emilia, and it's like a long life friend, and it's just like, the way of like, I'm gonna suck out savage blood from you, I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty, like, you know, that's what you do for poison, but it's like, stuff like that, that's pretty hardcore, I've got to give you that. It was better than last week's episode. I think this one was a lot better. I definitely would say, like, 6. I think it's a 6 to 6. It's fine, and I'm glad that they're kind of getting all this stuff out of the way. It's like, you know, oh, we knew about all these tropes coming up, so I'm glad they're not, like, building them up to be a big thing. But then it's why I was like, if it plays all its cards immediately, then what else is it going to have unless it has a unique turn, or are we just going to get into the comedy too? Like I said, like, you guys kind of want me to keep talking about this, and I'm still having fun with it. Like, even like the most I get out of it is honestly, it's like, when I'm seeing this episode, I'm like, boy, I can't wait to like shoot the shit with this with you guys, because it's like, it makes my day out. Like, I have to go through it. It's like, even though I get my slight enjoyment of watching the anime, I think, like, especially this is one of the rare cases where unless it's a few selected shows I do, is where I genuinely have more fun talking about the episode than I do watching the episode, because I know how you guys act in the comment section, and then we know we can shoot the shit, so I love that situation. But let me know what you thought about the 100th episode. Like I said, what do you think about the variant awakening? What do you think about the whole big plot twist of Emilia? Like, whoa, just, yeah, that was crazy, yo, like, what the hell? But that's all from me. I want to thank you much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time.